everybody, Basketball Wives is back. So let's get into it. We are still in the 10th season. If you check out the description of this episode, it says that this is the mid-season premiere. And that honestly makes a lot of sense because I felt like last season or this season, the beginning of it, just kind of ended abruptly. There was absolutely no reunion. I was very, very disappointed. So it makes sense that this is still season 10. So to start off, we see Brooke in the chapel, and she's seeming really, really sad. And she reports that she's feeling broken, and whatever the situation is that she has not disclosed to us yet was betrayal. I assume that we were talking about her other recent loss because she says the event was fresh. And honestly, the last major event that I recently saw in the news regarding her was her losing a very close family member. So, condolence to you, Brooke, and your family for your loss. But I'm pretty sure that the scene is referring to her relationship. Then we move on and we get a short 2.5-second clip of Jackie. She is calling Doug at this coffee shop, and it was just super random to me. And then we get to an even shorter clip of Duffy, who is with her and her kids. And if you blinked, you honestly missed it because I did at first. But kind of here, I started to realize that this is the intros of the girls, even though we know them, but I guess we haven't seen them in a while. So they're doing their little intros. Moving on. We also get to see a short clip of Brandy, and I don't know whose idea it was for these short intros, but I'm not liking them. She was on FaceTime with her son and showing him that she had made some stuff from her cookbook. And honestly, good for you, Brandy. Always love to see a fellow Texan shine. We get to Jen, and Jen is still with her man Jelani, who she met at the meat market that Duffy hosted at the beginning of this season. She calls him a perfect gentleman and reports that they are exclusive. And good for you, Jen. I love. And she's talking about how they haven't been on dinner dates in a while. And Jelani hits her with that, well, let's do brunch at my mom's. Jen is like, that's not, the ring I was hoping for, but at least we're getting somewhere. And then we move to the next scene. Here we see Jackie getting a knock on her. I don't really know where she was at first. I was assuming it was a hotel, but she was getting a knock at her door, and in walks Malaysia. Jackie reports that Doug is on the road coaching the Sacramento Kings. So Jackie has more time to be messy, is what I'm getting. Just kidding. And Malaysia was like, let's call Doug, because he's probably with his players, and I might have to shoot my shot at one of them. And of course, Jackie does it. Here we see Malaysia and Doug exchange hellos, and then Malaysia is like, okay, Doug, move your big head. I'm trying to see the players behind you. Then she brings up the legal actions that we've kind of heard in the past, and she's wondering which one of the girls has spilled the tea. As the show really has not aired yet, and her ex was kind of knowing everything that Malaysia was saying. He hit her with a cease and desist. Who do y'all think was spilling the tea? I low-key think it was Duffy. She kind of seems like the tell your business type. Now, we know last season Malaysia and the rest of the cast did not have the best energy together. So we see Jackie asking Malaysia if she would be interested in rejoining the group. What do y'all think? Do you want to see Malaysia join the group? I do. I've always loved Malaysia, and I will keep loving that girl. She does no wrong in my eyes, and everybody else is a hater. Malaysia reminds Jackie that every time she has tried in the past, things have gotten terribly wrong. The producers then flash back to all the Malaysia fights from the beginning of the seasons, and if you don't remember, I'm here to remind you. There was her and Brandy, there was her and Jen, there was her and British, and then she says, especially after the launch party of Jen, she stopped coming around. But ultimately, she agrees to start coming around. In the next scene, there's Brandy and British and Brooke, the three big B's. And it appears to be that they're in Brooke's house, just having a little kiki moment. The girls ask Brooke how she's been. She says, well, today I'm a little down. And you know how people ask you how you are, but really don't mean how you truly are? Because as soon as she said that, Brandy and Britt were like, ooh, girl. And Brooke gets them all some wine. She also lets us know that she recently moved back to LA after leaving her husband in New York. And see, it's kind of right. I think she was having some relationship issues. She said her gut was telling her, um, and the ladies, you know, use your intuition. It's usually right. But Brooke's ex, he left his phone unlocked while he was asleep. And why? Um, Brooke found out he was cheating via text. She wakes that man up in the middle of the night and just has his phone in his face. Homie was just looking dumbfounded. Ladies, can you relate? I mean, how many times have we thought we had the one who was telling everybody that we were their one, but wasn't really the one? Because, men just love to embarrass us. She then talks about her IVF journey and she's not sure where she went wrong. Most of the times, ladies, it's literally nothing that you did, it's just men are stupid. She says she's been keeping her phone on airplane mode because her soon to be ex still blows her up, hoping to get back together. And I mean, that's usually how it goes. They don't want to treat you right until you're gone. But, you know, what Portia said, bye, Ashley. And back to Duffy we go. Surprise! She's still DJing. Did y'all really think she was gonna quit? I never did. So we see her in the studio, and she says she has found the balance between work and her home life. She's taking local gigs and she's not traveling as much. And she said that it's really saved her relationship. Wonderful. So British walks into the studio and she begins discussing her legal issues. She is still facing federal fraud charges. We get a little flashback to last season when everything went down. We also learn that she has probation every Wednesday, and thankfully, she does not have an ankle monitor. The discussion then moves on to Duffy asking British about the girls, and I'm really not sure why she doesn't know herself, unless I missed that part. But anyways, she asks about the ladies and focuses more on Brooke. She throws the idea out there about having a party to ease her mind off life called It's Raining Men. British is like, cool idea, but you remember Brooks still is married. They laugh about it and move on to the guest list. They both decide that the list of people not invited would be bigger. And British immediately brings up that about Malaysia and how she feels like she will bring down the mood. Duffy pretty much is just like, well, she's coming anyway. Then we get to see the brunch, and Jen looks so happy. We get Jen and her man on one side and her man's parents on the other side. Personally, I would have been a little bit intimidated, but Jen seems to hold herself well. Jen reminds us that it's been a very long time since she's felt good in a relationship. Her man's dad tells Jen very nicely, as he said he has met a handful of the women that he's dated. And you know what? Let's cut the crap. What are you interested in, my child? Jen is like, wow, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? But ultimately, she says that it's just a natural connection. Then his mom starts to ask Jen, well, what about kids? And Jen says she's kind of open to it. And that's when dad drops the news that mom wants twins. Ooh. Then they need to carry those twins pretty much. Then we're back to Jackie, who is on the phone with Doug. Go figure. Letting him know that she's going to Brooke's party tonight. Which y'all remember that Jackie and Brooke almost fought last season. But apparently they made up and we got to see that, which I really don't like when they don't show the makeup. So I'm kind of glad that we did get to see that. Jackie's showing up to Brooke's house with a set of candles as a peace offering. And, we love to see the growth. Now, we are finally to the party. which Duffy now refers to it as the back in the game party. I mean, that's way better than it's raining men. We get to see all the ladies walk in, and Malaysia lets us know she has mixed feelings as no one is really messing with her right now, but she's there to support. We find out that Angel and Rockstar are not in attendance as they just had their baby. Congratulations to Angel and Rockstar. The ladies are kind of sitting, in a little circular section. And of course, Messy Jackie makes the comment about Jen sitting too far from the group. Jackie is sitting next to Malaysia, and it, kind of seems distant. Everybody was like, girl, please. And British told her, girl, don't start your ish. Jackie's like, what? I got one of my girls right next to me, and I have one of my girls all the way over there. Malaysia's like, no, she can keep herself over there. And Jackie is like, oh, okay. That's what y'all's doing. That's petty. Then you see British in her confessional saying, Jackie, now you know nobody messes with Malaysia. And then that scene ends with Jackie saying, well, I'm sorry. And I get Jackie trying to be the peacemaker, but we all know, how Jackie Christie gets down. The ladies move around a little, and then we get to see one of the girls asking Brooke how she's feeling, and Brooke is like, so. Brandy then makes a powerful statement. She says, well, when you're ready, you owe him a conversation. Now, at first I was like, what? And just like Brooke's face. But then Brandy kind of explains it more, and she says, like, the meaning behind the statement is, it's just for Brooke. Brooke should talk to her ex about the situation, not for him, but for her. Which, I get what Brandy is trying to say, but sometimes we all don't get the closure that we're wanting, so sometimes the way Brooke is handling it is, best for the situation. Then, Malaysia's like, maybe you should wait. And Brandy's weird self asks, well, did you wait for Gennaro? And Malaysia says, yes, actually, I waited a year. British then realizes maybe after the conversation, she kind of sees that Malaysia is opening up more, which is truly all she wanted. Then Jen gives her experience on divorce and refers to it as feeling like a slow, painful death. And then, of course, Jackie brings up the ex throwing the drink in her face, and come on, Jackie, I don't know why that was necessary. But of course, Brooke jumps in and was like, well, obviously, that was a lot for her. And you see Jen shaking her head in agreement, and she jumps in her confessionals to say, Jackie is messy, which, Jackie, you're messy. And why is she worried about her past relationships? Yeah. The ladies then start moving around again, and Jen catches Duffy up on the brunch with Jelani and how good it went. And it's really nice to see Jen smiling again. And British says that she wants a girlfriend. Do you, British? Do you? Once again, we see Jackie being messy as she starts congratulating on Brandy on being able to get along with people in front of the group. The camera then pans to Duffy and Malaysia sitting down speaking, and Jackie encourages Brandy to join the two. Weird, as everybody in the show is growner than me and can make their own decisions. Brandy, of course, walks over there and she starts asking Malaysia if she's dating. And you can see that Malaysia didn't want her business out there. So she's like, girl, I'll talk to you about that later. Next, we get Brandy, and she is like, girl, what is it? What do you have to say? I can see it in your face. And, Malaysia starts saying, well, my feelings are hurt. She then tells Brandy if she's the one reaching out to her ex about legal stuff. Malaysia said word on the street is that the streets are saying that it's Brandy and that Brandy has some underlying beef with Malaysia. And Brandy, looking guilty and dumb as ever, says, girl, I don't even talk to you, so how would I even talk to him? And I'm like, yeah, you did. And Malaysia's like, okay, just asking. And we're back to Jackie. Jackie Christie being messy. She asks British if she can take her and Malaysia out for drinks, and for why is beyond me. but British says that she'll think about it, and we end the night with a toast to Brooke and a little turn-up session. After the party, we are forced to see Brooke and her ex FaceTiming. I'm sorry, but I just don't like seeing stuff like this. But he's being apologizing and respectful. Brooke is just still unsure, and she says that she's doing what's best for her. The call ends, and hopefully we don't have to see much more of that. As this episode comes to a wrap, Jackie is sitting down at the table outside and, showing her age. She orders a grandma something. I think they said a grandma E. And then Malaysia walks in and sits down. And then followed behind her is British, who walks in and sits down. There didn't seem to be much tension, but of course, Jackie brings up some tension that she saw last night. And Malaysia said, "Girl, what tension? You didn't notice anything. You were having a blast, letting your hair down." And then the producers flashed back to British on a pole. British said that she's at her thought age and she's claiming that she's dating 3 people at once. Jackie gives British a speech about respecting her body. British tells Jackie to stay out of people's business. And then she brings up all the kumbaya sessions she's tried to have with the ladies. And Jackie's like, "I'm just trying to be the peacemaker." Malaysia then brings up examples of her saying her not wanting Jackie to invite Jen to sit by her. Then she claims Jen didn't need to be in her business. British then here she messes up. She says that everybody word. And she's like telling Jackie that everybody thinks that she's bored and stirring things up. Wrong move. Jackie gets mad and says, "I'm that girl. So if you want to call me bored, cool, but get on my level." Jackie said that she's livid and she will line everybody up talking about her. Now, British starts to backtrack, saying that, you shouldn't be mad. Nobody's talking about her. And Jackie says, "Forget that. Start calling people. I need some names. I need some answers." So Jackie starts calling Jen. Jen, of course, doesn't answer. And Jackie's like, maybe she's with her man. British is like, let me call her. And of course, Jen answers for British. She's like, "Girl, just a heads up. I'm with Jackie." British then asks Jen's opinion on if Jackie is messy. Jen says that Jackie's an advocate for everybody, but sometimes she needs to mind her business. Jackie says, "But am I invited in your business?" Jen makes a comment about, well, no, but then talks about Jackie coming over to her house and seeing if her and Malaysia can be cool. Ooh, and that's really when it starts. Malaysia butts in and she's like, "Nobody gives an F." And then Jen's like, "Oh, okay." Malaysia then hangs up on Jen, and British immediately calls Jen back and apologizes. Malaysia was like, "Yep, that was me that hung up on you." And Jen was like, "I know it wasn't Malaysia Pargo. Who do you think you are?" Then they start going back and forth, and that is where this week's episode ends. And we get to see the previews for the further episodes and the rest of the seasons. Woo! That was a lot. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. It's kind of giving back in the day vibes, when Drea was on the show. And I really love that era. So I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes us. And that's it. If you enjoyed that recap, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you next time.